Now, in all the time I've been alive, I've seen quite a decent amount of horror movies, and sometimes the quote-unquote horror movies aren't really that scary and more stupid because the people in the movie have the survival instinct of a deer in front of a moving car. And I think the most annoying thing about movies like Scream is that this film is obviously based in America, right? So you'd assume at least one of the victims in the early movies would at least own one firearm, but somehow none of the victims did. Which is obviously not a huge problem, they can just grab some sort of weapon around the house to defend themselves. But instead, they run around the house getting nowhere, and they get somehow either trip over or do something stupid that basically gets themselves killed. For example, when that girl in Scream thought it'd be a good idea to go through the small dog flap on the garage door, but half the time she literally couldn't even fit her shoulders through it. And instead of moving out the way and at least trying to find a way to defend herself, actually, you know what, I just realised something. While she was trying to escape, Ghostface was on the ground trying to get up after being, like tripped up somehow. So couldn't she have either just kicked him while he was down over and over, or smashed one of the bottles she had and just finish him off? Surely she could have done one of those things. But instead of doing any of those strategies, she still tries to get through the tiny dog flap, which is not working at all, by the way, giving Ghostface the opportunity to open the garage door, lift it up, and then slowly crush her skull when she reaches the top. And that is the reason why I'm starting this list off with Scream, because to survive this movie, all I have to do is carry that Glock with a switch on it at all times, on some King Von type shit, and then when Ghostface tries to catch me lacking, I just put a bullet through his brain and I move on about my day. Or just don't answer the phone. I never pick up the phone anyway, so that won't be a problem. Right, anyways, let's just move on to the next one. Another easy horror movie is Child's Play. Super flipping easy to survive. Still can't believe people died in this movie, it generally baffles me. The premise of this movie is some geezer who's a serial killer gets his soul transferred into a toy doll, and somehow, I don't know how, and then this kid called Andy gets his mum to buy it for him, not knowing that the doll was actually possessed by the killer, obviously. And then when he takes it home, Chucky's goal throughout the movie is to transfer his soul into Andy's body, and you know what, you get the picture. What I don't get about this movie is that this flipping guy is the size of a football, so I think in this situation where he's trying to murder us, we should just treat him like one and boot the across the world. Did no one think in this movie we should just kick him, and once he's down, just stomp on him, and then finally, just to finish him off, burn him in the fire? Chucky's by far the easiest killer to survive. Now, if he had switched roles with another human, or some sort of life-size statue, then I can say I'd be finished. But we ain't talking about that, we're talking about a 2-foot tall little play doll. So yeah, he'd be easy to beat by a mile. Okay, another one that's going up the scale a little bit is Leatherface. This guy is a brainless fat guy with an inbred family and a chainsaw, either outrunning because the guy's literally overweight and has extra weight in him because he's literally swinging a chainsaw around. So I'd say that's a pretty easy task. Or just throw a rocket at the guy to stun him and then just maybe try and turn the chainsaw on him or something. Which isn't really hard because this guy has the mental capacity of an infant child. But on the other hand, if it was his other family members, then I'm f***ed. But him, super easy. I know we've already covered 3, but don't worry.
There's more!
Okay, I know this next one is going to be seen as sort of controversial, but Michael Myers. Okay, just hear me out. I know the guy's almost impossible to kill unless you shove him in like a wood chipper or something, but if you just slightly outwalk him or outrun him, he will never catch you. Or just go on vacation during Halloween, because Michael's commonly known for killing during Halloween, so just go somewhere else for the time being and you'll be okay. But if you're with him and you're running away from him, make sure he's in your eyesight, because somehow, I don't know why, this guy has an inexplicable teleporting ability, which makes it much harder. So if I'm ever being chased by Michael freaking Myers, I just go on a light jog, because this whole thing is that he just walks everywhere. And like I said before, try and keep an eye on him at all times so he doesn't do that magic teleporting thing. I wouldn't even bother trying to kill him with weapons, it would be pointless, because the guy's invincible and the best chance you have of a weapon is to get an RPG, load that bitch up, and boom! Okay, one more. You know what? Pennywise the Dancing Clown. Now, he's a horror character who I thought when I was younger was pretty much impossible to beat, because the whole point of him is that he's an entity in the form of a clown that can transform into your worst fears. Now, I have a lot of fears, That's what I thought when the first movie came out. When the second one released, that's how I realised how easy it actually was to beat this guy. All you have to do to beat him is bully him. I know, really random from the rise, but it works. So if this guy tries to fuel me with fear and then bite my head off, I'll just make fun of his appearance and he'll just shrivel up into some small nutsack and I'll pull his heart out. But if we're going on from the first movie, before they found out the easy way to beat him, you can either move away from Derry, because that's the only place he's really terrorising people in, or gather a group of friends and beat the shit out of him with a bat, because I guess that will work, I think. Oh, and carry a gun. Not just to use it on Pennywise, but also to use it on that psycho Henry who killed his own father for some odd reason. So that's all the horror characters I'm confident I can survive. Let me know if there's any more in the comments that I've missed, because even though I've seen quite a few movies, I haven't seen all of them, so I want to know if there's any more. Anyways, you guys have an amazing day. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.